Welcome back, game developers. Last time I showed you how to add a simple dialogue system to your game. Today I'm going to show you how to add a simple animation or puppeting system so you can move your characters around during your story cutscenes. First thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new family, and in this family you're going to put any sprite that you want to be able to control during a cutscene. So not just your player, but anything else. Go ahead and name your family Puppets, and we're going to give it 4 instance variables. The first instance variable is called ID, and it will be a number. The second instance variable will be called moving left, and it will be a Boolean. The third instance variable will be moving right. It will be a Boolean. And the last instance variable will be moving jump, and it too will be a Boolean. Double check that you have all 4 and that their types are correct, and then hit X. Go ahead and right click your puppet family, and we will add a family behavior, and this behavior will be their movement type. So if you're doing a platforming game, it'll be platform. If you're doing a top-down game, it would be 8 direction. I'm doing a platforming game, so I'm going to select platform. Go ahead and right click this behavior and rename it cutscene movement. Now, when you look at your sprite's properties, you'll be able to see, for your player at least, you'll see their regular platforming behavior, and then you'll also see their cutscene movement behavior. Go ahead and uncheck default controls and uncheck enabled for the cutscene movement behavior. We'll turn it on when we're ready to use it. Okay, now let's make an event sheet called Puppets. And on this event sheet, we're going to add a couple of functions and a couple of lines of code. So let's start by hitting Q for comment and type in puppet controls. All right, let's create our first event. Add event, select puppets, and is Boolean instance variable set. Let's check to see if moving right is true. So is moving right true for the puppet? If so, we're going to simulate control moving to the right. So add an action, puppets, and simulate control for the cutscene movement, and we'll have them move right. Okay, now let's create a function that can use this. So right click and add function, and let's call it moving right. And right click it, and we're going to add 2 parameters. The first one is going to be how long. So this is how long you want your character to be moving to the right, and it'll be a number. And then right click and add a second parameter, and this one will be ID. This is how we'll be able to select the correct object to move around. Okay, right click your function and add a sub event, and we're going to do puppets and compare instance variable. And we're going to select instance variable, and we want it to be equal to the name of our parameter, which is ID. So I know it's going to say ID is equal to ID, but these are 2 different numbers. This is an instance variable on an object, and this is the name of the parameter that we created in our function here. All right, so this will allow us to select the correct puppet that we ask it to. All right, add action, puppets, and then set Boolean. And we want to set moving right to equal true. Then we're going to add an action, system, and wait. And then how many seconds do we want to wait? Well, we want to wait however many seconds we tell the function. So we're going to write the name of our parameter, how long. Right, how long is right here, and that's the name of our parameter in our function. Okay, and then we're just going to set moving right to be false again. So add action, puppets, set Boolean, moving right to be false. So when we call this function, it's going to select the correct puppet. It's going to turn moving right on. Then it's going to wait however long we ask it to. And then it's going to turn moving right to be false. And if moving right is true, it's going to simulate control. So basically, we're going to use functions like this to turn our character's movements on and off and tell it how long we want that movement to be working. So let's go ahead and just test this. If I go to my platform level and I change the event sheet to puppets, again, this is just for testing. We're not going to keep it this way. This is just to test it. And then I go back to my puppet event sheet and I just add one event. We'll do system on start of layout, add action. We're going to go puppets and we are going to turn their cutscene movement on. So set enabled, we'll go ahead and turn it on. And then we'll go ahead and call our function. So add action, functions, moving right. For how long? Let's say 3 seconds. And which ID? Well, I only have one character, but let's try and make this obvious for you. So I'm going to make an ID of 2512, just some random number, 2512. All right, so I just need my character's ID to match this, so that way it can select for the correct one. So if I go back to my platform level and I click my character and I set its puppet ID to be 2512 and hit play, we should see on the start of the layout our movement turn on and then our character move to the right for 3 seconds. Wow, he moved really fast. So I'm going to change my platform speed for the cutscene movement. I'm going to change it down to 150. I'm going to have it match its regular speed and hit play again. All right, and you can see after 3 seconds, he stopped moving to the right. Cool, so it works, right on. So you can see how this system works. We create a function that tells a specific puppet to move for a certain amount of time, and then we have another line of code that actually does the movement itself. So let's go ahead and hit Q and write moving left, and then let's copy these first 2 lines of code and paste them down here at the bottom, and let's go ahead and update these. So instead of moving right, let's say moving left, and for the simulate control, that would be moving left. And then in our function, let's right click it and edit it. Let's change its name to moving left. And then we'll change these 2 variables to moving left and moving left. All right, so now let's test this and see if we can get it to work for moving left. Down here on our start of layout event, I'm going to add an action, system, and I'm going to wait 3 seconds because that's how long this first movement takes place. I'm going to add another action, functions, move left for 3 seconds, and again I have to tell it it's the ID for the puppet, and we had 2502. All right, now let's see if this works. Okay, character moves right, and then the character moves left. Awesome, so it's working. Okay, back to our puppet code. Let's go and hit Q and do the jump command. And again, we can just copy these 2 lines of code and paste it down here at the bottom. And now instead of moving left, we're going to be moving jump. And instead of simulating to the left, we're going to be simulating jump. Same thing for the function, right click, edit function. We'll do moving jump. And then again, we change these 2 variables to jump and jump. All right, let's see if that works. We move right, we wait, we move left, we wait, and then let's go ahead and call our jump function. And I'm going to say 2 seconds. Put my ID in there. All right, let's see if that works. Awesome. Cool, so our system is almost finished. The last bit is adding some animation, right? So I imagine your game probably has some animation code. Mine has some animation code for walking on the ground and jumping and falling and such. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab all of this code and copy it. Go to my Puppet event sheet, go down to the bottom and go ahead and hit Q. We'll say animations, and then go ahead and paste all of your animation code in here. Okay, now once you've placed your animation code, we need to go through and change it from saying players to saying puppets. So you're just going to have to open up each one of them and hit back and then select puppets instead, one by one. Okay, so you can see I've gone through and I've changed all of the player commands to be puppet commands now. Okay, now that we have this animation code in, let's take another look at our cutscene that we started to build. All right, now we can see that my character is actually animated. But you notice when he turned left, he didn't actually turn around to the left. So we can come up here to our moving left function and we can add an action, puppets, and then we can set mirrored. And then we'll move that to the top so it happens first. Same thing for moving right. We'll add an action, puppets, set mirrored, not mirrored. And again, we need to move that to the top so it happens first. All right, let's give that a look. Okay, he moves to the right, and then he turns around. Beautiful. Our animation system is complete. Let's go ahead and clean it up. So this on start of layout command, we're going to go ahead and change. We're going to delete out these commands because we don't need them. That was for testing. And on start of layout, we're going to disable cutscene movement. We're also going to set the puppets default controls to be disabled. This way you can't accidentally control a character while you're running around. Okay, with our puppeting system finished, let's go to our dialogue event sheet and include the puppet event sheet. Now when creating your cutscenes, you can move your characters as well as display dialogue. All right, let's see what it looks like to put both of these systems together. Here I have a layout called cutscene, and cutscene is paired with an event sheet called cutscene. And this event sheet has both the dialogue and the puppeting event sheets included on it. They're called something different in this project, but it's the same code. So you can see here, we're going to fade in from black. We're going to play some music. We'll turn on our cutscene movement, and we'll turn off the player's regular movement. And then we have our cutscene scripted out here using our functions, a wait command, and the wait for signal next. We have sound effects, dialogue, and that continues all the way down until we get to the end here, where we destroy the dialogue, we send our character out, we fade to black, and we go to our first level. Let's see what this looks like played out. Alright, so in today's tutorial, I showed you how to make a simple animation or puppeting system and how to include it in your cutscene events. Thanks for watching.